Namaskar. This is Medhul Krish, Chairman, Career Competency Development, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore. Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham has been ranked the 4th best university in India under the National Institution Ranking Framework from Ministry of Human Resources Development for the year 2020. Education is not complete unless we add certain culture, values, ethics, discipline, principles in one's life, along with the degree that one offers from any of the universities. So, the philosophy of Amrita is just not handing over a degree, but also ensure a value-based education for the students who join us. Today, Amrita ensures bridging the gap between technology and humanity. It is not out of place for us to mention, or for me to mention, that the 21st century skills like collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and communication is part of our educational or the curriculum or the system that we adopt. After this COVID-19, the technology has taken a turn and the teaching and learning process have changed in the last 8 to 10 months. It is again not out of place for me to mention that we from Amrita uses the knowledge and skills that we learn and being imparted to the students of visiting remote villages across the country, staying in the villages, understanding the problems that the villagers face, identifying a solution, and initiating action to solve those problems faced by villagers is a part of our project and an initiative taken by Amrita. The Live-in Labs. The future, as we all know, is going to be unpredictable, uncertain, and volatile. But I am sure and confident that technology is going to remain for the rest of this century. As a part of it, the reason for us to videograph this session with the head of departments of various disciplines across all the Amrita School of Engineering, Chennai, Coimbatore, Bangalore, and Amritapuri, is to make you understand as to whether you are choosing the right discipline or not. And this is exclusively for those students who are capped on the wall. Should I be an engineering graduate or should I not be an engineering graduate? And not able to decide. But once you watch this videograph, graphed even for the next, maybe for about 10-15 minutes, you will come to the conclusion that my choice is the best and the right. Thank you so much. So in order to understand regarding electronic communication engineering as well as electronics and computer engineering, here we have with us Associate Professor and Chair, ECE and EAC, Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore, to brief us about this particular department. He is none other than Dr. Naveen Kumar. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and namaskar.
Namaskar, sir. So before we start this conversation, let's have a brief about yourself as to where did you really do your engineering, And what made you to be an engineer? And how did your journey in terms of your career go about? A brief summary about yourself before I start asking about your department. Over to you, sir.
So I started my career very early. You can say around 17, 18 years of age, just after completing my plus two. I did my diploma in radio engineering and electronics from here, Bangalore, actually, from Air Force Diploma College. Then I worked as a diploma engineer. I got a lot of hands-on in the working, and then I decided no, I should go for engineering. That was my actually objective from the beginning, but something that it pushed to go for the diploma first. So I did my engineering in electronics and telecommunication from Delhi. It is on 1996 I completed, and then again I worked. I worked as a design engineer. I worked as a service engineer, and I worked a lot in radio navigation and so on. Fortunately, then I thought, no, I have to go for a master. So I did my MTech in Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology. Earlier it was REC, Regional Engineering College. And my branch was Digital Engineering System. So I did completed that, and then immediately no, college asked me to why not you join us, and in Allahabad itself. So I started teaching in a private colleges. I had an interest in teaching because when I was taught, I thought that some of the teachers clearly they don't explain. So what is the problem? Why no? If they explain clearly, maybe it is good for us. So I started teaching, and I felt no. I think I got a lot of positive response from them. But within a year of in Allahabad, then some interview came from abroad as an expatriate teaching staff, and in Africa. So Ministry of Education from Ethiopia, they came to interview, and I applied, and they selected me for Addis Ababa University as an assistant professor. So I thought, okay, let us go and try what it is. Although Ethiopia was not a preferred country like Africa itself, but I thought, okay, let us see. So since it was a premier institute, this was university, so I thought, okay, let us go there. And then when I was there for around 2 years plus, so I thought, no, if I'm remaining in the academic, I have to complete my PhD. And I wanted to do from outside. So I worked, and finally the proposal was accepted in 2007 from European Union. And one of the professors in Portugal, we discuss about the project, and in one of the program we call it as a joint university program with the University of Aveiro, Porto, and Minho in Portugal. So I was admitted, and I was funded completely for that project as well as my education. So within 4 years of time exactly, I completed my PhD 2007 to 2011 in telecommunication engineering from there. And I had a chance to work as an associate researcher in a very reputed research institute in Europe, which is Institution of Telecommunication, located in Aveiro of Portugal. So it was a very good experience, and from there, no, I started my career as a researcher, and I enjoyed, and it became my passion to go for the research. After completion of PhD, then I was working as a researcher there, and then we thought it is a very high time to come back to India. And when I came back, then I thought, okay, let us go to Bangalore. In fact, I had an offer from Bangalore, one of the institute, because somehow he came to know that I'm planning to come back to India, and therefore he started communicating, Professor, when you come, please come and join us. So I thought, okay, one offer is already there, so let us see. So I came in around 2012. I was in that institution for a semester. But then I learned about Amrita, and I came here. I was interviewed, and I joined.
That is wonderful to hear from you, sir, that you have traveled across the country, traveled across the world. You have an experience as a teacher. You have been into researcher. Wonderful, wonderful journey, and you have been with Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore, for almost more than 5 to 6 years now.
Yes,
6 years, wonderful.
2014.
So, having seen and having tasted different universities in different parts of the world, what do you think about your department, both ECE and, of course, EOC, whatever you call it as, or EAC, Electronics and Computer Engineering? What's so special about this compared to other colleges and universities? Something uniqueness in your department that you must tell us about it, if you have, and I'm sure you have. I mean, because you have seen varieties. So, what do you think the uniqueness of your department vis-a-vis the same department across different colleges and universities in our country? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, well, first is ECE, in my understanding, it is the best branch. It is not that because my area is ECE. I will give you several examples to prove that. Now coming to uniqueness about ECE department. So ECE department is one of the largest departments in terms of admission of undergraduate and postgraduate and so on. We have actually very good teacher. And you see that in our department, the teachers are educated from outside. Teachers have the experience of industry and very good quality of teacher, dedicated teachers. Second, you see about the practical part of training that we contribute to students. In the introduction of university, you earlier mentioned about living project and lab. So living lab, that is really very interesting, and the people, when after studying up to a couple of years, and when they go to third year, normally they most of them, they become interested in doing such type of project which had hands-on. So we provide them, we offer them, and our teacher also, they help them doing such type of project which is based upon hardware and so on. So in both the cases, you see our interest. Plus, as per university, we have a valued program, right? We are disciplined. Initially, when they join all together, maybe their concept and no, they don't like because of dress, they don't like because of this. But the moment they go to third year or second year, towards the senior second year, you ask them, and they love the institute, they love the department. So I think faculty is a very good addition, value add to us.
Well said, sir. And what exactly is the difference between EAC and ECE, sir? You have two departments, right, under you, and what could be the difference between these two?
Yeah, actually, ECE is a well-known branch, right?
Okay, communication.
Communication.
Yeah, that electronics and communication
Yeah.
is well known. Okay, let's talk about EAC.
Correct. So you see, in the youngster, when they join, most of them, they try to go to CSE. It is their first branch. I don't know. They don't have the idea. They don't have the background knowledge. Neither, I think, they are very well informed before they join.
Yeah, that's why we are having this videographing, so that the students come to know what is what in different disciplines. Over to you, sir.
Exactly. So because of looking at their demand on and the intention towards computer, so we thought, okay, let us open up a branch where electronics and computer is combined. So today you see, without communication, nothing is going to happen. You take any field, computer and communication is an integral part. So this particularly EAC branch that you have, electronics and computer, in fact, here you can say what we have done is, we have taken out the communication, a specialized communication, which leads them to ECE. So we have taken out that subject and introduced the computer part in the higher semester. So that gives the knowledge of electronics and computer. So they can be employed either in electronics industry or even in the computer, where IT and so on is concerned.
So as you rightly said, communication and electronics and computer science engineering, it's all interlinked. And I'm sure that this is going to help the students to decide as to whether they should choose ECE or EOA or whatever it is, EOC or something like that. It doesn't come to me, I don't know why, because I've anyway, coming back to that, I want you to tell us about the strength of faculties in your department and how strong they are. right? In terms of how many of them are with doctorates and from which universities across the world. So if you could just give me some brief on that.
Yeah.
Faculties available in your department.
So we have two professor, and both one professor is industry experience and outside education, Sweden, for example, very well known university. We have one professor who is from IIT and very good industry experience he carries. And then we have associate professor, myself, again trained outside and a lot of experience in government and industry. And we have another associate professor who is also very well educated, and he has research funds with them. Apart from that, we have around 15 PhD holders, doctorates. 15 PhD holders, and out of them, 7 are from outside, having the degree either from IIT or outside of India. So we have this type of faculty in our department. In addition to that, the faculty who are the leftover, we have altogether around 36 plus faculty. They are registered for PhD and they are doing PhD. And most of them, they are here for a very long time. They are here for around over 10 years of time, and they are well now equipped with the knowledge and in the research interest. So I think this is the strength we have.
Sir, having heard you mentioning about the strength of your faculties in terms of PhDs and would-be PhDs in the future, I have fallen in love with your department, ECE and EAC. But before I choose to be fitting myself into either EAC or ECE, how do I look at and assess myself that I am apt towards one of these disciplines? What do you think should be, a quality of a student to choose ECE? Or I would say, forget about the quality, at least the talents and the skills that a student must be having it in themselves to decide on one of the departments that you head with Amada School of Engineering, Bangalore. Over to you, sir.
It is in fact a very good question, and it is a very basic question that I think when they are doing +2, half an hour, 1 hour session, it should be given to them. Where to go, what to do if they are intended towards engineering. Okay. Now coming to why they should go for ECE or CSE or mechanical or electrical, anything of like this branch to choose. See, now programming skill is being taught from standard 6 or 7, yes. And it continues. It continues. So programming skills you have, plus you see lot of hackathon, lot of projects are also being incorporated either from outside or college, the PU or the high school itself. For example, I also volunteer IEEE. Okay, and we do workshop in application development. We go to the PU high school and we train them. We conduct hackathon for them, and I see the people, those who participate, the small kids. Now, based upon their interest, you see somebody will open some electronics and they will try to do something. Somebody, you see, they keep on doing something on the computer. So if the student has the interest towards programming, definitely they might choose to go to CSE. And if they see that I'm good to open something, again assemble, break something in electronics or twice something, it means they are intended towards doing some hardware based thing. And they might go for ECE, they might go for electronics, they might go for electrical, they might go for mechanical. So I think this might be a basic
it's quite clear. But I'm just trying to make you think about the labs that you have. Because if you look at mechanical, if you look at civil, look at electricals, all those departments have different labs, various labs, and labs are very prominent and important for them. But in your case, for ECE and EOC, right, EAC, Electronics and Computer Science Engineering, how important is the lab? And if the labs are important, what type of labs you have? And what are the pilot labs you have in your department? Over to you regarding your labs.
Well, so first thing is our lab starts from second year, that is third semester. In the first year, they have no basic science lab also on, but from the second year, we start. And we start with the basic electronics, digital, then basic communication, the digital communication. So these are you find in most of the colleges, no doubt, right? However, in our case, the moment you come to sixth semester, for example, third year, we have electives. We have opened the elective courses for them. And those elective you can choose based upon the industry, right? And based upon your interest. So we have BLSI dedicated lab where many license cadence sort of high level of license required. We have multiple license for that BLSI. We have communication lab. There also we have a lot of license based software from NI also LiveView or so on. We have for MTech and researchers advanced communication lab. We have RF lab. We have robotics where of course it is also CSE department, so collaboratively we work. So in advanced communication lab we have where I mean we have all sort of hardwares. We have the equipment which are high frequency rated because we work normally in high frequency area and so on. And so these are the existing lab. You said pilot labs, especially I'm looking at two different labs right now, and we are in the stage where we are collaborating with industry, and with the industry support this lab will come. One is advanced communication, which is 6G lab, 6G. So 5G to some extent we have, and that we want to extend it up to 6G research. Second, we are bringing it, which is related to grid communication and the power distribution, grid communication, and networking, wireless mesh, and so on. In the electrical department, the communication has become so important that without communication, you will not able to do anything, whether it is IoT, whether it is a smart city, with anything. So one is integrated IoT based lab, which is the test lab for even a smart city. So these are in the pipeline, which I personally am working on with the industry collaboration, and I hope in a couple of years it will come to the very best lab.
Thank you so much. And when you mentioned about the industry collaboration, I want to know from you as to how much have you gone deeper and wider with the industry and academia connect? Because I believe that you should teach the students what the industry wants, right? So how do you collaborate? When you mentioned about the industry collaboration, which is of course is vital, which is certainly a very important aspect for teaching the students what the industry wants, because they have to be employed, they have to be placed. So how do you connect yourself with the industry connected with the ECE and your academics as such, your curriculum as such? How do you fine tune it? How do you create a tandem between the requirement of the industry and the curriculum that you formulate? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, very well. So it starts from the course curriculum development. So what we do, as you see, our university has the own syllabus and set syllabus. For undergraduate, we revise the syllabus every 4 years, and for postgraduate, every 2 years. And what we do is we include the industry expert in the course curriculum development. So this means that what we are developing and we are contacting, we are bringing the industry expert, and we take their suggestion, we take their comments. Not only that, we also have expert in the course curriculum development from outside India. Can be a professor, well-known university or industry. So they are there from the beginning of the course development. This is number one. Second is, from the sixth semester onward, we have opened lot many electives, and those electives are focused towards the industry applications and design. So it might be programming based. So those who have the interest, they can choose those electives. It can be a core based. For, like, let's say Samsung, they want to go, so we have the elective suiting to them. We have the elective suiting to Cisco networking, they can go. So the lot of choices we have in the elective that opens up to choose for them based upon their interest and the industry. This is the current situation. Now we have a future plan, especially I am taking interest that industry, I have a lot of connect from the industry.
You haven't worked,
I
you
have
worked in.
Yeah, and also because of volunteering, and this opportunity gives us to meet a lot of CTO, CEO, and so on at a high level. So I'm in the talk with them that if they can, in one of the semester, they can develop and they can give their own package of one subject. And we are the person, we will give them the flexibility. Either you take 2 weeks continuous training and teach that course before you go before you place them, or you do this course in the weekend. It is up to you. But the entire module of one elective you teach. And I think we will get a couple of them from the next in the syllabus. So that is, I think, the best thing we are trying to do.
Yeah, having said about the collaboration with the industry, can you tell me something about the internship that you provide from your department?
Yes, we have internship. Students go to PSU, for example, DRDO. They go to ISRO. They go to Bell Lab. They go to BHEL. So number one. Second is they go to very established company, for example, Cisco, BLSI based company. They go to Samsung. They go to Ericsson. You take any industry name, we have the internship, and they take it, and our student, they go. We place those who want to go, they go.
Oh, when you said about the internship, people join your department for that reason, for any department in engineering, any disciplines they choose, or they become an engineer to get themselves a decent job, right? How is your placement as far as your department is concerned? That's number one for 2020. And the second one, if you could mention something about the alumni, the alumni, where they are now and what are they doing, it will be of great help for us.
I think if you take the placement part first.
Tell me which are the companies which has come to you in 2019 or 20. Few of the companies connected to ECE and
most of the MNC.
Most of the
MNC, all company. You take Cisco for the networking, Arista. You have Samsung, you have Ericsson.
Fantastic.
All major company, they come.
And what would be the package, highest package that your students could?
On an average.
On an average. Okay.
7 to 9. Highest lakhs. We have 18, 19.
Oh, wonderful. 18, 19 lakhs
yes.
per annum. Oh,
yes, we have.
And an average is about 7 lakhs or so.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And if a student now doesn't want placement and he wishes to go in for higher education, what would be your suggestion? What are the streams available for their post-graduation? And of course, you have your own post-graduation when somebody wants to go abroad to do their MS. And what would be your suggestion?
Definitely. In our department, if you take together the student who want to go for higher study and the placement, it is close to around 90 to 93%. Okay. In this, we see that around 10 to 20% they would like to go for higher study. My personal suggestion is, I give a lot of recommendation. People ask.
People counsel, you counsel your students?
Yes. I counsel because they come for recommendation, not at the level of HOD, but as a teacher or whatever. So when they come, I do counsel them. But my suggestion is, after graduating, you should work. If you work in industry or wherever, you will understand actually where is the problem and what is the problem and what education I have taken, is it worth or sufficient? After that working of 2 years of experience, you might go for higher
Higher studies.
education.
And what would be the higher studies? What type of PGs that they can do after they complete ECE or electronic and
Exactly.
computer
So EC graduate can go to even CSE based computer science. They go for robotics. They go for AI, the intelligence today, artificial intelligence. So they go for any. You take it altogether. US US normally they have electrical engineering or computer science, MS in computer or MS in electrical. And when they go, you have the specialized subject to choose in your higher second year, and therefore most of them they go. My suggestion is, of course, most of them they come for US, but I try to push them that try for Europe. Europe is well versed lab you have, what I have seen. In US, sometimes if you have money, you will get admission. That is true. But in Europe, it is not like that. It is based upon your merit, based upon your experience, based upon some practical work. If you have publication, if you are really, your recommendation is good, all this sum up to get admission in European university. But US, yes, little bit of biasing. But many students, they go US, Europe, Australia.
Sir, you mentioned a lot of names, big names, multinational names now. They're all connected to one particular industry called communication. You spoke about Samsung and Syscoms and many names you mentioned. It's all something to do with communication. What is the future of communication in terms of how does this industry, the communication industry, what do you see in the next 10 years? What's going to happen? Is it going to enlarge and give more opportunities for those students who are joining us in the year 2021 and they pass out in 2025? What do you say about this industry? Is it going to be a blast or it's going to be a collapse? Over to you, sir.
Actually, couple of weeks ago, I was asked to give a webinar for 1 hour on the same topic.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so, I think it's fresh in your mind as to what reply you should give to me for that particular question, right?
So EC, I think today and in future, without communication, nothing is going to happen. You take any field, you have to know about networking, you have to know about communication protocol, you have to understand how communication system works. And that is basic. You take any mechanical department, you take electrical power distribution. Today IoT, right? IoT is on peak. What is IoT? It is a hardware. Until you communicate something to someone, nothing is going to happen. And IoT is everywhere. And what is the scope? If you see the business prospect of IoT, it comes to be, it is going to observe million of people if they want to. I give you one example. Let's say smart city. And I can say that ambitious project of Prime Minister, right? 500 smart city in India. How many people can be employed? Right now, we do not develop, we do not design one simple sensor. And in one smart city, how many sensors will be there?
Sir, thank you so much for this lovely briefing on why one should join ECE and EAC at Amada School of Engineering, Bangalore. But before we leave, why should we join Amada School of Engineering, Bangalore, and what's so special about it, sir?
See, Amrita University is unique. There is, what I find is, one is discipline. So when you join, you have uniformity, which teaches you to some extent discipline. This is number one. It has a valued program. No university teaches you. So it is like a family situation. So when we are bonded, and thanks to Amma, who has motivated us and who gives this type of you can say the Rosni which bonds us together, and whoever comes, joins here, they really enjoy and they find themselves different from any other university.
So we have here with us Dr. Naveen Kumar, Associate Professor and Chair, Department of ECE and EAC, Ahmedabad School of Engineering, Kasunali, Bangalore. Thanks a lot, sir, for being with us, and you are certainly enlightened the reasons as to why one should choose this particular department as well as Ahmedabad School of Engineering, Bangalore. Thank you so much once again from Amartya Vishwavidyapeetham.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Namaste.